Hey there guys, Outlaw Dolphin here, and we're going to begin our fourth chapter into the Inquisition. At the end of the last video I forgot to speak to Vivienne, so we're just going to speak to Vivienne first and then jump into the second part of the Hinterlands. So Vivienne first, then the Hinterlands. Boom. Here we go. So yeah, I came in here at the end of the last video, it triggered a cutscene. I just straight up forgot that Vivienne is here.
You came from the circle at Ostwick, did you not? Senior Enchanter Lydia was a dear friend of mine. Were you at all acquainted?
Studied with her a bit.
Yes, she was one of my instructors.
You are lucky to have studied with her. Lydia had a wealth of knowledge. I understand she was killed by one of her own students when the Ostwick Circle rebelled. I think we both agree that this war must end.
Now, Vivienne supports the reconstruction of the Circle. You can say that we must have the Circle restored, and that you'll get approval from her. Something that's equally as difficult as getting approval from Solus, just based on her personality. But however,
if war is the only solution to injustice, then so be it.
Do you tell that to the victims? That their suffering is all the more meaningful because it is for a great cause? I'm sure that makes everything better. Justinia's death has shattered the balance of power in Thedas. If it is not restored quickly, countless lives will be lost. Mages, Templars, innocent people of all kinds now look to the Inquisition to decide their fate.
make no mistake, I'll do all I can.
I'll try not to let them down.
Failure is a luxury we cannot afford, my dear. For almost 1,000 years, the world believed it was in the hands of the Maker. And now many believe you are the agent of his will. Whatever the truth is, that belief gives you power.
I was given this blessing by Andraste herself. The power is not mine, but hers.
We can only hope she offers you better guidance than she does the rest of us. I've stolen enough of your time, my dear. Don't let me keep you.
There you go, so a relatively short conversation.
Yes?
We're just going to pick up a quest for her, which is not a quick quest, mind you.
Is there anything I can do to help your efforts at restoring the Circle?
After the circles fell, their libraries were plundered by scavengers. 1,000 years of recorded knowledge in the hands of bandits. It makes me sick to think of it. I've received news that some tomes have been located, if you are interested in righting this wrong.
I'll find them.
I'll look into it for you.
If you can take care of this matter, the Circle will be in your debt.
This requires us to find 3 tomes. 2 of them are in which of places that we can't actually get to at this point in time, but one of them is. One of them is in the Hinterlands, and it will be on our way to Redcliffe.
Dispatch for you.
There we go, guys. So we are at the camp of Lake Lutheus, which is the camp that I specifically wanted to grab in a previous video. If I show you on the map, this is where Liliana wants us to find Blackwall, and the camp is just straight here. So either you spawn here and traipse across the entire land, or you just spawn here and we're literally 10 seconds from him. Everybody wins. Taking a roundabout route to get up here. There we go, he's just on the other side of that. Just on the other side of the river here. Blackwall is a interesting enough of a character. I don't think he's my favourite character in Dragon Age Inquisition. I just tend to... I don't know. I've never really bothered with him. With any character, really. Maybe that will change for this one.
Lie there and there, no gaps. Remember how to carry your shields. You're not hiding, you're holding. Otherwise, it's useless.
Blackwall. Warden Blackwall.
You're not... How do you know my name? Who said... Ah! That's it. Help or get out. We're dealing with these idiots first. Conscripts, here they come!
I like how his weapons change. Starts off with a small sword and then he ends with a claymore.
Sorry, bastards. Good work, conscripts. Even if this shouldn't have happened, they could have... Well, thieves are made, not born. Take back what they stole. Go back to your families. You saved yourselves. You're no farmer. Why do you know my name? Who are you?
It's interesting in that line that he just said about the thieves, how thieves are made and not born. Blackwall is notorious for not getting along with almost anyone in the Inquisition save for Sarah and perhaps Iron Bull. Particularly Dorian he doesn't get along with. But Dorian has a particular thing to say about evil people in the fact that they are made and not born. That's a critical perspective that they both share, but yet they disagree on almost everything else.
I know your name because I'm an agent of the Inquisition. I'm investigating whether the disappearance of Wardens has anything to do with the murder of the Divine.
Maker's balls. The Wardens and the Divine. That can't... No, you're asking so you don't really know. First off, I didn't know they disappeared. But we do that, right? No more blight, job done. Wardens are the first thing forgotten. But one thing I'll tell you, no Warden killed the Divine. Our purpose isn't political.
I'm not here to accuse, not yet. I just need information. I've only found you. Where are the rest?
I haven't seen any Wardens for months. I travel alone, recruiting. Not much interest because the Archdemon is a decade dead, and no need to conscript because there's no blight coming. Treaties give Wardens the right to take what we need, who we need. These idiots forced this fight, so I conscripted their victims. They had to do what I said, so I told them to stand. Next time they won't need me. Grey Wardens can inspire, make you better than you think you are.
Why haven't you disappeared? Or maybe you did.
Why haven't you gone missing like the rest of them?
Well, maybe I was going to. Or maybe there's a new directive, but a runner got lost or something. My job was to recruit on my own. Plan to stay that way for months. Years.
And where might Wardens go?
Do you have any idea where the other Wardens could have gone?
Maybe they returned to our stronghold at Weishaupt. That's in the Anderfels, a long way north. I don't really know. Can't imagine why they'd all disappear at once, let alone where they'd disappear to.
Inspiring but fruitless.
It's been a pleasure, Warden Blackwall. but this didn't help at all.
It's like we're having a go at him there. It's like if he doesn't know, he doesn't know. Jesus.
Inquisition. Agent, did you say? Hold a moment. The Divine is dead and the sky is torn. Events like these, thinking we're absent is almost as bad as thinking we're involved. If you're trying to put things right, maybe you need a warden. Maybe you need me.
How can you help alone?
The Inquisition needs all the support it can get. But what can one Grey Warden do?
Save the fucking world if pressed. Look, maybe fighting demons from the sky isn't something I'm practiced at. But show me someone who is. And like I said, there are treaties. Maybe this isn't a blight, but it's bloody well a disaster. Some will honor them. Being a warden means something to a lot of people.
Very well.
Warden Blackwall, the Inquisition accepts your offer.
Good to hear. We both need to know what's going on. And perhaps I've been keeping to myself for too long. This warden walks with the Inquisition.
Okay, so we got a bit more company now, but I still stick with Varric, Cassandra, Solus for now, until we're completely finished with the Hinterlands. Then I'll make up some weapons, some armor for some of the others. Get their perks all up to date. Charred paper. A letter found on the body of a bandit who stole from refugees in the Hinterlands. The ink is smudged and only a few sentences can be made out. You can die pretending. You'll earn back your soldier's honour. Or you can do something with the skills that son of a bitch taught you. Spend some time with my boys. No one will know who you are in Ferelden. And it's not so bad. A little bit of smuggling, a little bit of extortion, you'll get used to it. And look what happened to you. You don't even exist anymore. I mean, there is one thing to the gameplay of Inquisition. I will fast travel to Master Dennett's farm right about now. But I just want to talk about something in the gameplay. Cool. Yeah. So just below you'll find trials. Playing with trials will increase your challenge, but you'll also earn unique equipment. I'm only playing with one trial at the moment, and because I'm playing with the Golden Nug, and I'm using schematics that are of a far higher level than I would normally have at this point, I'm playing with the enemies always scale to be at least the same level as the Inquisitor. Significantly increases chance of receiving special equipment rewards in your strongholds. Warning: in rare cases, trials may cause enemies or followers to behave unpredictably. Even ground. This just means that even if my level is super high for an area, the enemy will always scale to my level, so I'm never truly overpowered. Let's see what we have here. Favours of the First Enchanter, so that's where Vivienne's quest is, and that's north of the crossroads. But first we're going to head here. There you go. So the first thing I might do is just quickly grab the mount and then quickly jump off, because that will complete another quest. There we go. And back off again. Nope, go away tutorial. So first we must speak to Bron.
Better take a closer look.
If those refugees are going to defend themselves, they'll need real defences. I've got a few ideas.
I've built the watchtowers.
I've built watchtowers in the areas you recommended.
Nicely done. That'll give both the refugees and our farmers some warning next time trouble pays a visit. I'll speak to the Master and have weapons sent to your people at the crossroads.
Now we must speak to Elena.
You deal with the wolves, and our farmers will be safe again.
Done it.
The wolves should be back to normal now. They shouldn't be any further trouble.
That's good to hear. I'll send word to the farmers and let my husband know what you've done. It may not seem like much, but you've given this land hope it desperately needed.
Let's look around.
There we go. So now all that's left is to speak to Master Dennett.
Elena says you got rid of those demon-cursed wolves. Should be safer for our farmers now. You've held up your end of our bargain, Inquisition. You'll have my whole stable in good hands to go with it.
He'll send his horses, but you can ask him to join the Inquisition personally. That's something we can actually do.
You sent your stable hands and your horses to the Inquisition. What about you?
Well, you've cleaned up the area, and I can't say I'm not tempted. Still, it feels wrong to abandon my land to go play horsemaster again.
Now we can have Cassandra speak to him, or we can use our underworld knowledge. We're going to use our underworld knowledge here.
You know, the Inquisition comes across horses from all over Thedas.
You don't say. All right, Inquisition. I'll look to your horses myself. Never let it be said that Redcliffe gave less than the best. Just let me settle matters here and say goodbye to my wife. I'll meet you at Haven.
That's the one thing that convinces him. He will still consider joining the Inquisition for the ability to see all the horses that you will unlock. You can unlock plenty of mounts. You can unlock Hala and Draculisks. They're all quite exotic creatures.
Good to see you.
Okay, so now that we have Master Dennett in the Inquisition, we're now going to make the long march to Redcliffe. It's not a particularly long road, but we do just have a couple of quests in our way. They don't take particularly long. There's just a number of them. The first one we'll find over here to our right. You'll see a Inquisition scout, recruit Bellet.
Watch yourself. Bandits up ahead. Or something anyway. They're blocking the road.
They might not be bandits.
You don't think they're bandits?
Bandits wait until people are vulnerable, then hit them fast so nobody escapes. These bastards show themselves too early. They care more about driving people away than taking loot. They're either stupid, or they're more than just bandits. And they're too well armed for stupid.
Tell me about them.
What can you tell me about the attackers on the road?
Several groups, some of them with bows. They've got better armor than most around here. It's too many for us. If you head out there, careful you don't get flanked. They don't take prisoners.
Thanks for the warning.
There's also plenty of Drakestone mineral out here that will be useful for us to collect.
Bandits ahead!
There you go, so hopefully with my new staff, combat shouldn't take too long, but should still be a challenge considering that they're always going to be at a level that matches me. It's just the way that the Hinterlands...
The ancient elves may have set up wards near here. If we can find the artifacts they used, it may help strengthen this area against tears.
Hello?
Peace. I am no danger to you. My name is Maris. By your weapons, I see you come ready for battle. Perhaps we face a common enemy in these demons.
What are you doing out here?
Are you fighting the demons on your own?
Fighting the demons is pointless.
There will always be more, and I have no means of closing the rifts. But I have heard of elven artifacts that measure the veil. They may tell us where new rifts will appear. I was not expecting so many demons, however. I believe one of the artifacts is nearby. Can you help me reach it?
Yes, we'll help.
It sounds worth investigating.
Thank you. It shouldn't be too much farther ahead. Thank you for joining me. I do not think I could have done this alone.
How did you come to be here?
I was, first of Clan Venen. I left in service of my clan and saw that great tear in the Veil on my journey. I know more of magic and the Veil than any Shemlin, so I hope to help.
Maharal, Dalen.
We should keep moving.
I'm not too clear on the description of Shemlin. In the way that it's, in the context of which is used, I believe Shemlin is a term that elves use for humans in a derogative manner. We can see that our temporary companion Miris is not too fond of Solus. Probably because he's not with a clan. And I think it's very clear that Solus looks down on Dalish clans.
What manner of fire is that?
I have heard of this, but never seen it before. It is called Veil Fire. It is a form of sympathetic magic. A memory of flame that burns in this world where the veil is thin.
This isn't a particularly long quest, it's just the idea of getting to this antechamber in here. In here you'll find the... Oh boy, here they come. I believe the Veil Fire will help us find something particular. You can kind of see that there was quite a lot of blood magic going on in here. This is the item that Stolas would have us activate.
Yes, the wards are helping to strengthen the veil. This area should be safer for travelers now.
Well, that should prove useful. And it seems the ancestors left something for me. I will be here when you're ready. I believe our alliance is concluded. Go in peace, stranger.
So she's just found something. We're going to have Solus talk to her because if we say that we want it, we get this little rare symbol that suggests we're going to attack her to take it. We're not going to do that, ever. Let's just have Solus talk it out.
Aye. Perhaps you're right. Here, take it. Go with Mithal's blessing.
So when she hands it to us, it becomes a amulet of power that Solus can use. Amulets of power are... Here we go.
The runes are interacting somehow with the flame from the torch. A weapon enchantment. This could be quite useful.
So when you use Veil Fire, typically when you see any way that you can pick up Veil Fire, there will be one of these runes nearby. And these runes will give you weapon runes, should you mark them like this. So we just picked up a fire rune. The amulets of power that you pick up are ways to give free perks to characters. So I'll show you because I have two. We'll go to accessories and we'll scroll down to Varric. So I have one for Varric. It will destroy itself, but now Varric has a perk. Same for Solus. There we go. You can now see that the arrows are above in their icon, so we're going to level them. we go. And now we'll continue on dealing with the rest of what the bandits have to offer. First, there's just some loot in front of us. Picked off by some archers over there. There we go, so that's not all of them. We'll find some further down in the ravine.
Solas, have you always lived alone? Out in the wilderness as an apostate?
For the most part.
Would that not be incredibly trying?
People can be trying. Mankind most of all.
That is an excellent point.
There we go, we can see that these guys are in a campsite that we can use. I just thought I'd run into the face of this archer here because the guy with the big massive hammer seems to want to hit me. There we go.
Decent spot to camp.
We get some decent supplies out of them. And here you will find a note which I believe describes why they're here. An unsigned letter in the Hinterlands. Preliminary digs have been more than successful. It's extremely surprising to find such high quantity of the product this close to the surface. If I didn't know better, I'd think it was growing. On one hand, this gives us an advantage without having to work with the old families back in Orzammar, or even take this through official guild channels. Our families stand to make a killing. On the other hand, the proximity to the surface and to the populated areas of Redcliffe raises interesting challenge. The war between the mages and Templars should keep people out of this area for now, but as soon as the humans are done trying to kill each other, any operation will start to be uncovered. We're going to take advantage of this opportunity. We need to keep people out of the area. I'd recommend manufacturing some bandits. This part of Ferelden is lousy with them, so they shouldn't attract much attention, and nobody will have trouble believing that bandits would stake out some territory. By the time anyone uncovers the operation, it'll either be tapped out, in which case we'll be gone, or we'll have the operation running smoothly, in which case we'll be wealthy enough to deny everything, and throw some money at the throne by the way of an apology. Talk to the families and make it happen. This is too good to pass up. So these bandits here, they were paid by a third party to protect something.
This might interest you, sir.
It's not too difficult to figure out that what these people, like, clearly they're mining, so one could take out the fact that, you know, to protect resources like iron, or if it's some kind of a mineral mine, you don't need this kind of protection for that. So it's quite easy to suggest that this must be a lyrium mine. There we go, so we could head that way. only we will find much resistance. I will show you. But we're not going to tackle with it just yet. I will show you for the cool factor. But it's not something I want to deal with right now.
She's taking flight.
There we go. And now we take our leave. Because at this point in the game, that dragon will one-shot us with everything. So we don't stand a chance. Even with my grossly overpowered staff and armor for the area. Everything else, however, should be more than easy to deal with. Everything but a dragon. But make no mistake, we will come back with a vengeance at some point. And I'll probably start to hunt dragons once I've gained access to my specialization. From that point on, we will be more than ready to deal with anything that dragons throw at us. There you go, so we're just going to mine some of the Drake stone in this area. Find quite a bit of it hidden here in the undergrowth. Oh, and someone dropped some gold. So now we're going to return to recruit Belette and tell her that the bandits have been dealt with. I believe you could head up the hill. Recruit Belette is somewhere over here. The ravine comes out in two places.
Nice work taking care of the bandits. Corporate Vale will want to hear the good news.
There we go. We completed the quest as soon as we defeated them in the ravine back there. I just think it's good show to speak to her and just say, oh, by the way, I did it. And she's just like, yeah, I know, because I watched it all from afar. Oh, now that terror is going to attack me. Oh. For a long time I was just like, huh? It's all the way up there. It's so high up. Anything gonna want to particularly bother with me? Not just yet. Ow. Tried to get to him before he... Damn it. There we go, no time at all. What do I get today? More lightning essence. So yeah, we need to go up this way because this location is where the Hinterlands mage tome is hidden. Yeah. So it's just up on this tower here. It's a little bit odd to think about how you can get to it, but it's just dunk. And then a ladder. You'll find them as they're represented by these large red books, so they stick out quite a bit. So that's the one that we can collect for now. We won't be able to get the others until we reach Skyhold. So once we reach the top of these stairs, the first time when we entered the Hinterlands, we picked up a letter of two brothers feuding. We find out what happened
Search the area.
as we loot this body. We find the Templar that was using his father's sword. And you have to wonder where the mage might be. Can we have Varric pick this lock? Yes, we can. I don't want to disturb those mages over there just yet. There we go, so we found another collectible in the shape of a bottle. A weapon. And I think that's it for this house. So here we find a mage and his cell swords. There we go. For some reason my team found it best to hide behind a house. So we're going to loot this body down here. And this poor sod has a letter. So this is another Templar called Corrin. In the light of current hostilities, I believe our arrangement is no longer satisfactory. You are unable to reach me with payment, and I have no means of delivering the merchandise to you. I hope that when this unfortunate situation is resolved, we may once again do business. Tanner. We find Tanner in Redcliffe Village. I think first of all we're just going to have... Redcliffe Village is just down at the bottom of this pass. We're going to come across a very interesting rift. And the fact that it just seems to be sitting there and not doing anything until we approach.
Redcliffe Village should be right up ahead.
I want a constant watch on that damn thing. Sound the alarm at the first sign of demons.
So you'll see these circles on the floor. Solus will comment on these after the battle, but you can see what they're doing to Varric and Cassandra. This one is slowing them down. And this one is speeding me the hell up. If only this happened in more places. It also speeds up your mana recovery, so you can literally just stand in this little circle. It also speeds up your enemies, so do be wary of that. There we go. And now we can close it. It speeds up all processes and it will also slow them down.
What was that?
We don't know what these rifts can do. That one appeared to alter the time around it.
We'll have to look into this.
We need to find out what caused whatever this is.
Make her have mercy. It's over. Open the gates.
We spread word the Inquisition was coming. But you should know that no one here was expecting us.
No one? Not even Grand Enchanter Fiona?
If she was, she hasn't told anyone. We've arranged use of the tavern for the negotiations.
Agents of the Inquisition, my apologies. Magister Alexius is in charge now, but hasn't yet arrived. He's expected shortly. You can speak with the former Grand Enchanter in the meantime.
Thank you, nondescript messenger.
The Veil is weaker here than in Haven. And not merely weak, but altered in a way I have not seen.
We should talk to the Grand Enchanter.
So Redcliffe is in a strange situation. If you remember Queen Anora from Dragon Age Origins, she is given Redcliffe as refuge to Grand Enchanter Fiona and her mages. The mages that are trying to secure peace talks and don't really want to fight.
Dream again last night. No, there'll be no trouble.
There are a couple of quests to do around here. I don't really pay much attention to them. I've never really done them. I don't see much need. Once you've completed all the side quests in and around the crossroads, you have more than enough power to do what you need, and you don't really have to pay much attention to anything else going on. So we can head into the tavern and speak with Grand Enchanter Fiona. What we're actually going to do is speak to Tanner first. Tanner you'll find just up here. And surprise, surprise, she's a sister.
I am Sister Tanner. May I help you?
You're with the Chantry?
Are you a Chantry sister?
A lay sister only. I work here to help the poor and extend the Maker's kindness to those who need it. It is very busy work, especially in these times, but let me know if I can ever help you.
I know you're a smuggler.
I found the letter you sent to Templar named Corin.
What? Shit. You can't prove anything. A letter from a rogue Templar. Nobody is going to care. So, what do you intend to do?
Now if we hit special again, we can have Varric talk to her, we can have Cassandra talk to her, or we can talk to her. I'm actually going to have Varric talk to her.
What kind of cut are they giving you? Have you got protection? I see a suspicious lack of guards. It looks to me like you've been cut loose. Maybe you should look for a new employer.
Are you serious? The high and mighty Inquisition needs smugglers. All right, I'm in. Seems like the Inquisition is the safer bet these days.
So you can see there that Cassandra slightly disapproved of our actions in recruiting a smuggler, but Varric slightly approved. So Cassandra didn't like that, Varric did like that. We're not going to go into the Chantry just yet, there's not much point. Our next business is in the tavern, where we meet many curious characters. The Gull and Lantern.
Welcome, agents of the Inquisition. What has brought you to Redcliffe?
You invited me here.
We're here because of your invitation back in Val Royeaux.
You must be mistaken. I haven't been to Val Royeaux since before the Conclave.
I'm certain it was you.
There is no mistake. While the Templars were leaving, you came to Val Royeaux and asked me here.
The Templars left Val Royeaux? Where did they go? That sounds... Why does that sound so strange? Whoever or whatever brought you here, the situation has changed. The Free Mages have already pledged themselves to the service of the Tevinter Imperium.
An alliance with Tevinter? Do you not fear all of Thedas turning against you?
Andraste's ass. I'm trying to think of a single worse thing you could have done, and I've got nothing.
I understand that you are afraid, but you deserve better than slavery to Tevinter.
As one indentured to a Magister, I no longer have the authority to negotiate with you.
I'm going to speak from a mage's perspective here.
An alliance with Tevinter is a terrible mistake.
All hope of peace died with Justinia. This bargain with Tevinter would not have been my first choice, but we had no choice. We are losing this war. I needed to save as many of my people as I could.
Welcome, my friends. I apologize for not greeting you earlier.
Agents of the Inquisition, allow me to introduce Magister Girion Alexius.
The Southern Mages are under my command. And you are the survivor, yes? The one from the Fade? Interesting.
Tell me about this alliance.
I'd like to know more about this alliance between the rebel mages and the Imperium.
Certainly. What specifically do you wish to know?
Fiona said she's indentured.
The Grand Enchanter told me she was indentured to a Magister.
Our Southern brethren have no legal status in the Imperium. As they were not born citizens of Tevinter, they must work for a period of 10 years before gaining full rights. As their protector, I shall oversee their work for the Imperium.
And what is Tevinter gaining?
What does the Imperium gain from taking rebel mages under its wing?
For the moment, the Southern Mages are a considerable expense. After they are properly trained, they will join our legion.
You said not all my people would be military. There are children, those not suited.
And one day I'm sure they will all be productive citizens of the Imperium when their debts are paid.
So you can see here that Magister Girion Alexius has possibly already lied to the mages about what this deal intends.
I'm not clear on when exactly you negotiated this arrangement with Fiona.
When the Conclave was destroyed, these poor souls faced the brutality of the Templars, who rushed to attack them. It could only be through divine providence that I arrived when I did.
It was certainly very timely.
This is a long way from home for you.
You're quite a long way from Tevinter, Alexius.
Indeed I am, though I have heard you are no Ferelden either. It seems we are both strangers here. Felix, would you send for a scribe, please? Pardon my manners. My son Felix, friends. I am not surprised you're here. Containing the breach is not a feat that many could even attempt. There is no telling how many mages would be needed for such an endeavor. Ambitious, indeed.
We don't think small here.
Well, when you're fighting a massive tear in the sky, you can hardly afford to think small.
There will have to be. Felix.
My lord, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
Are you all right?
I'm fine, Father.
Come, I'll get your powders. Please excuse me, friends. We will have to continue this another time. Fiona, I require your assistance back at the castle.
I don't mean to trouble everyone.
I shall send word to the Inquisition. We will conclude this business at a later date.
Come to the Chantry. You are in danger.
Ooh, very mysterious.
It's worth investigating.
We'll be careful, but we need to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, we're just going to speak to Clemens here.
Magister Alexius wishes only mages to remain in Redcliffe. He will approve of you. He does not approve of me. Many villagers have already left to escape his ire.
Why does Alexius not approve?
What does the Magister have against you?
He does not like to be reminded of what mages can become. He says all tranquil must leave Redcliffe, but who would take us in?
Farewell.
One moment. You are a member of the Inquisition, are you not? I am an alchemist. You must require potions. If the Magister will not have me here, perhaps I can offer my services.
Yes, please join us.
We'd be delighted to have you working for the Inquisition.
Thank you. While one lives, it is good to believe there is still a use for one's talents.
So Clemens is a tranquil, and you can see that Gary and Alexius is not too fond. Many times during that cutscene, the first time at the very least, I believed that Felix was poisoned and that the talks were sabotaged, save for a higher cause. I do believe Garion has come here for many reasons. One of those reasons being the fact that Felix is actually very unwell. If anyone's unfamiliar with Grand Enchanter Fiona, she used to be a Grey Warden, but somehow disconnected from everything that being a Grey Warden entails. So she no longer suffers the blight as many other Grey Wardens do. I believe that's one reason why Garion has come here, as opposed to for all the other reasons that we will find as we progress.
Good. You're finally here. Now help me close this, would you?
So here we can see that this is yet another rift, which is acting like the one at the gate, as you can tell by the circles and formations on the floor. And in here there is another mage, of which we have still yet to learn his name. We must have apparently had been fighting these demons for quite some time. All done? There we go.
Fascinating. How does that work exactly? You don't even know, do you? You just wiggle your fingers and boom. Rift closes.
Who are you?
Ah, getting ahead of myself again, I see. Dorian of House Parlors, most recently of Minrathous. How do you do?
Another Tevinter. Be cautious with this one.
Suspicious friends you have here. Magister Alexius was once my mentor, so my assistance should be valuable, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Where's Felix?
I was expecting Felix to be here.
I'm sure he's on his way. He was to give you the note, then meet us here after ditching his father.
Is something wrong with Felix?
Alexius couldn't jump to Felix's side fast enough when he pretended to be faint. Is something wrong with him?
He's had some lingering illness for months. Felix is an only child, and Alexius is being a mother hen, most likely.
Are you a Magister?
All right, let's say this once. I'm a mage from Tevinter, but not a member of the Magisterium. I know Southerners use the terms interchangeably, but that only makes you sound like barbarians.
Did you send the note?
Are you the one who sent that note, then?
I am. Someone had to warn you after all. Look, you must know there's danger. That should be obvious even without the note. Let's start with Alexius claiming the allegiance of the mage rebels out from under you. As if by magic, yes? Which is exactly right. To reach Redcliffe, before the Inquisition, Alexius distorted time itself.
That's ridiculous.
I've never heard of time-controlling magic. Not in all my studies.
That is fascinating if true, and almost certainly dangerous.
The rift you closed here. You saw how it twisted time around itself, sped some things up and slowed others down. Soon, there will be more like it, and they'll appear further and further away from Redcliffe. The magic Alexius is using is wildly unstable, and it's unraveling the world.
Great, so we have two things that are unraveling the world. Time magic and the breach. Do you have evidence?
I'd like more proof than magical time control. Go with it.
I know what I'm talking about. I helped develop this magic. When I was still his apprentice, it was pure theory. Alexius could never get it to work. What I don't understand is why he's doing it. Ripping time to shreds just to gain a few hundred lackeys?
He didn't do it for them.
Took you long enough. Is he getting suspicious?
No, but I shouldn't have played the illness card. I thought he'd be fussing over me all day. My father's joined a cult, Tevinter Supremacists. They call themselves Venatori. And I can tell you one thing. Whatever he's done for them, he's done it to get to you.
Why does he want me?
Why would he rearrange time and indenture the Mage Rebellion just to get to me?
They're obsessed with you, but I don't know why. Perhaps because you survived the Temple of Sacred Ashes.
You can close the rifts. Maybe there's a connection. Or they see you as a threat.
If the Venatori are behind those rifts or the breach in the sky, they're even worse than I thought.
How do we stop him?
Do you have any suggestions?
You know you're his target. Expecting the trap is the first step in turning it to your advantage. I can't stay in Redcliffe. Alexius doesn't know I'm here, and I want to keep it that way for now. But whenever you're ready to deal with him, I want to be there. I'll be in touch. Oh, and Felix, try not to get yourself killed.
There are worse things than dying, Dorian.
Ay, ay, ay. The one thing that I actually like about this chantry here, I don't understand all the pictures that it depicts, but I understand the first one. The first one is telling the story of how the original Magisters 1,000 years ago entered the Fade to seize the Golden City. Their corruption of blood magic supposedly tainted the Gold City to that of a Black City, and they were thus expelled from the Fade and became the original Darkspawn, and Blights were created. The next windows all depict Andraste, particularly her story of self-sacrifice, and that's what you see in the final picture. So yeah, so you get a small glimpse into the idea of religion here. The idea of religion for this game is that the only thing well, all these things happened to be depicted in these windows, but the truth of what the Golden City is and what the Black City is now, that's what intrigues this story of Inquisition. Nothing with religion is as it seems. There's a lot of stuff that has been forgotten over the years, and it's the Inquisition that it's a story of the Inquisition that shows that. It's not that the Inquisition figure it out. Probably not until the end of the final DLC in Trespasser do you actually start to be able to put stuff together to do with religion.
Does Tevinter really need cults? Aren't they weird enough?
They have torn open time itself, so no, I doubt they truly need a cult as well.
Okay, so I just want to jump down to a merchant down on the pier, and then I think we're done with Redcliffe and the Hinterlands. So I think we're able to move on to one of the next areas. So here we go, back in Haven, and we're just going to deal with a couple of small related tasks. First of all, we're going to speak to Blackwall.
Maker, look at it. So much easier to ignore when it's far away. And to actually walk out of it, to be that close.
You could get closer.
It's right there. We could take a trip if you're that curious.
I'm gonna have to decline. At least until I learn more about it. The breach, the Divine's death, the Wardens. It doesn't make sense. There's so much we don't know.
Your help will be invaluable. Is it we already? Eddie, Jesus. Is it we already?
Already feeling like part of the team, I see.
Too soon? I thought we were building a rapport. So, you already know something of me. What about you? How do you fit into all this?
Some worship me, I'm not too sure if I like it. I'm ready to stand up to the cause of being Andraste's herald. But still the pressure of people worshipping, that's... ugh. I want peace.
I just want to help stop the war. Try to put things back in order.
A worthy goal, one I'm happy to support. For me, I'll be satisfied so long as we find the bastards that killed the Divine. They owe us some answers.
Just a few. There you go, so... Blackwall still has a quest to give us.
I've heard rumours of abandoned warden camps all over these parts. If we have time, I'd like to take a look. See if there's anything we can salvage.
What's your thoughts on the Inquisition so far?
What do you think of the Inquisition?
I expected more. More men, better equipment. You may have Andraste's favour, but wars are won by men, soldiers.
Why war at all?
Avoiding war altogether would be ideal.
True enough. Still, it never hurts to be prepared. One thing I will say about your men. They're passionate, devoted. You inspire them. Build on that foundation, and you will have an army that makes nations tremble.
That's enough for now.
We should return to our duties.
As you wish. You are, after all, in charge.
Blackwall always sounds so... stern.
It occurs to me I don't actually know much about you.
What do you want to know?
I'm not sure. Where are you from?
Sometimes I love making stuff up, but let's just tell her the truth.
The Circle of Magi at Ostwick, at least until the rebellion began.
Yes, I suppose that would have required you to stay on the move. Tell me, do you consider the Free March as your home? Are you eager to go back?
No, I hated it.
If I ever go back, it'll be too soon.
Really? That is good to know, I suppose.
Goodbye.
That's enough for now.
Another time, then.
Considering that we're done with the Hinterlands, the next thing to do would be to pick a side. If I show the journal, in terms of Champions of the Just, so either speak to the Templars, or in Hushed Whispers and go to Redcliffe Castle and speak to Gary and Alexius once again. Both of these will encourage the story to go a bit further. What we actually need to do, and what I'm actually going to do in order, is the Storm Coast. So we're going to go to the Storm Coast and we need to meet Iron Bull. I'll probably take Blackwall with me, considering that the idea of going to the Storm Coast was to follow up reports of Grey Wardens on the north coast. And then, after that, we will go to the Fallow Mire, as it appears someone has kidnapped Inquisition soldiers, or at the very least, they have gone missing. So, those will be our two next steps. The Storm Coast, then the Fallow Mire. So there we go, guys, that's the end of the 4th chapter into Dragon Age Inquisition. We've just finished the Hinterlands, so we've spoken to Grand Enchanter Fiona and Majesty Girion Alexius. We now know what we have to do in terms of picking a side, in terms of whether we want Templar support or Mage support. And having finished almost everything in the Hinterlands, the next step for us to do is to go meet Bull on the Storm Coast and find our missing soldiers in the Fallow Mire. Thanks, guys. I will see you